Ever found yourself stuck doing a task and lacking all enthusiasm or interest? Knowing what you need to do but just not feeling up to doing it? Whether it's studying, writing an assignment, starting a new exercise routine, or doing your taxes. Today we're diving into what motivates us, why it sometimes feels like that's vanished, and how we can find it again. Ahoy, Peter from Brighter Training. This is Klaus, and today we are looking at motivation. Klaus was not motivated to continue doing the video, so I'm by myself. So what is motivation? Motivation, it's the force that drives us to get up for that early morning run, push through another hour of study, or tackle that challenging project at work. But it's not just about willpower, it's about what pulls us toward our goals. And there's two main types of motivation. We've got intrinsic, where the reward is the activity itself. It comes from internal, and there's extrinsic, which is motivated by an external reward. While both have their place, finding joy in the journey itself can be a powerful driver. What's happening in our brains to make us feel motivated? Dopamine, a neurotransmitter that's linked to pleasure and reward, plays a really key role. So achieving small goals triggers this dopamine release, propelling us toward our next achievement. But can someone else motivate us? Often we're out there looking for motivation. And while a great leader or a teacher can inspire and provide clarity, true motivation comes from within. So it's about finding personal meaning and satisfaction in our actions. Which begs the question, is it motivation or is it inspiration? So the concepts of motivation and inspiration, they're often used interchangeably, and they've got distinct nuances, especially when it comes to fostering enthusiasm among students or individuals pursuing their personal or professional goals. So let's have a quick look at motivation. Motivation can be defined as an internal process that drives a person to act, toward achieving that specific goal. So it's the reason behind our actions, our desires, and our needs. Motivation, as we said before, can be intrinsic, so driven by internal rewards like personal satisfaction, or it can be extrinsic, so driven by external rewards like praise or money. Now, motivation is characterized as more of a push factor, so it requires some form of action and decision. It's often linked to setting goals, establishing routines, and making a conscious effort to pursue an outcome. Is it sustainable? Well, motivation can lead to long-term habit formation, but it often requires ongoing effort to maintain, and especially if it's based primarily on that extrinsic factor. Sometimes people are motivated toward a reward, whereas others are motivated away from something negative. So I'll give you an example. You may have someone that goes to the gym and they're motivated toward being fit and healthy and energetic. Then you may have another person motivated to go to the gym to move away from being fat. Now, which one's better? Generally, toward motivations are longer lasting, as you've got a consistent target to aim for. When you're moving away from, so when you've got away from motivation, that tends to sort of result in these cycles. As you move away from what you don't want, the urgency sort of dies off, and then you tend to slow down a little bit. So ideally, work toward a specific outcome and keep changing the goal as you achieve each phase. So on the other hand, we've got inspiration. So inspiration is more spontaneous, it's less within our control. It often comes from external sources such as people or experiences or observed phenomena, and it creates a sense of possibility and eagerness to explore or create something new. So inspiration acts more like a pull factor. It's about being moved or stimulated mentally to feel or do something, especially something creative or beneficial. So it doesn't necessarily involve a direct goal, but it can ignite that initial spark for motivation. So inspiration can be kind of fleeting. It might not directly lead to action without the individual, without you harnessing that spark into a motivated plan or a goal. So which one's more important? So if you're a student, for example, lacking a bit of enthusiasm to get into your studies, both motivation and inspiration do play a crucial role in overcoming that lack of enthusiasm, but they sort of serve different functions. Inspiration is valuable for people who are feeling stuck or uninspired, as it can open up your minds to new ideas and possibilities and paths maybe that you haven't considered. It can rekindle the interest in learning and exploration without that immediate pressure of goals or outcomes. But motivation, on the other hand, is key to converting this newfound interest or excitement into an actionable step. So students who know what they should be doing, but they're struggling to find the will or the drive, building motivation through setting small, achievable goals and recognizing your achievements can be a lot more beneficial. But students who are lacking enthusiasm, in general, a blend of both really is what you probably need. So you need that inspiration to reignite your curiosity and your passion for learning and reminding you why you're there. But motivation helps channel that interest into a consistent action and persistence towards your goals. So how can you get motivated? Here's a few different tips and tricks that you might want to try. So first of all, don't wait for motivation. Often momentum leads to motivation. So get things started, and having a consistent approach is often required to drive motivation in the future. Secondly, consider a scheduled routine. Enter the activities that you need to do in your calendar and treat them like a formal appointment. So whether it's study or exercise or meal prepping or mindfulness, prepare, show up with a plan, stick to the routine, make sure it's in your calendar and commit to it as a formal appointment. Another good tip is, especially if you're studying, apply the material and think about the relevance of what you're doing. So again, study, personal development, connect what you're doing with other parts of your life or work, and that can really give the activity meaning, which can then help with motivation. So also more different systems in the brain that you can activate when reviewing information, the better the learning outcomes can be. So think about the benefits and applications of what you're doing to different parts of your life and to different people, and that can also give you that spark of inspiration, and that therefore helps with your motivation. So another thing that some people recommend to help with motivation is to reward yourself and to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be massive, but celebrating progress helps us to maintain that momentum. And linking activity with reward can trigger dopamine and other reward chemicals that can help entrench behaviors. So it might just be a piece of chocolate when you finish your study. It can be permission to sit down and read with no interruptions. Maybe a nice coffee or a walk or a new pair of shoes, who knows? So again, bit of a reward when you actually achieve little goals can really help. Next, consider the benefits of social connection. We are social creatures with brains designed to connect with others. So better learning outcomes are seen in classrooms where students approach and explore activities together, and social connection is healthy. So reach out to other students, join a club, engage with friends, contact a coach or a mentor, and find ways to share your experience and benefit from the support and inspiration of others. And sometimes motivation is a luxury that we just won't have. It would be great if there was a surefire way to be inspired and energized and excited to do what we need to do. But the fact is, sometimes the content or the activity is dull and boring or irrelevant, and that's life. So if you're a student, you won't love all of the subjects and all of the assignments. You still need to do them. Same with exercise, new habits or work activities. So have a plan, have a structure, use templates, and when necessary, suck it up and do it. If you keep focusing on the benefit, finding meaning, maintaining momentum, then you might end up inspired and motivated anyway. Purpose, routine, connection, value, reward. Each person will have different methods that work for them, so explore different options and remember that new habits take time to establish. So if you're looking for motivation to do something brand new or unfamiliar, also be realistic. It can take months and months to establish a routine and to feel inspired and confident in that new process. Motivation is complex, it's deeply personal, it's about finding what moves you and harnessing it, and sometimes just taking that first step even when it is really hard. So what motivates you? Share your story and methods in the comments below, and remember that most great achievements begin just with that initial decision to even try. So good luck with your goals, and thanks for tuning in.